About this script, Kyle and Claire split, 2 more romances begin, 4,000 words. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Kyle Abbott, Michael Miller, is pushing Claire Newman, Haley Erin, too hard. Kyle is pushing Claire right into another man's arms even though he doesn't mean to. It's possible that Claire will believe she has no other choice but to end things and hope they can reconnect. Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman's relationship is at the breaking point. Kyle has lied to Claire one too many times. Instead of making things better, Kyle is piling more pressure on Claire instead of just stopping and allowing her to think things over and decide whether or not she can deal with this. After all, Kyle has lied to her several times. How much more will she need to endure before she can fully embrace their relationship? Everyone has told Kyle to take a step back and allow Claire to process everything that has happened. Instead, Kyle is pushing Claire right into Holden Novak, Nathan Owen's, arms. Claire has already told her mother that Holden has caught her eye, and he has also offered to take Claire to LA with him. Will Claire break things off with Kyle? Claire Newman and Holden Novak connect. Claire certainly has her eye on Holden Novak and may decide that she needs to see where this goes since she hasn't dated anyone but Kyle. Claire told Holden she wanted to go to Disneyland. Holden has agreed that it would be a good idea. Will Claire take off with Holden and check out Disneyland, leaving Kyle behind to figure out where he went wrong? Even though Claire doesn't want to hurt Kyle, she doesn't think she can get over what he did. Claire is prepared to move on from her first relationship and discover what else is waiting for her out there. Is Holden about to become Claire's ex now that she wants to be with Holden? How will the son of Kyle deal with their breakup? Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles does protest too much. Kyle may act as though he wants nothing to do. Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva. Unfortunately, Kyle's actions do not fit his words. Kyle is always passionate in his arguments with Audra and she acts the same. Will Kyle and Audra end up back together in an actual relationship this time? Are both Claire and Kyle fooling themselves? Holden is falling head over heels for Claire from what we can see. Will Claire fall for Holden just as hard even though this is only her second relationship? Can Holden give Claire the love and security that Kyle and his numerous lies cannot? Come here for all things Y&R. Check back often for the Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates. Which Claire or Audra receives a more passionate response from Kyle? The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Kyle Abbott, Michael Miller, has a noticeable problem. Anyone in Genoa City, Wisconsin, or observers on the other side of the screen can see the difference in his face when he's with Claire Newman, Haley Erin, or Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva. Claire is the sweetest of the sweet. She's the new woman in his life who represents a form of Summer Newman, Allison Lanny, Redux. Audra is her own entity. She is unlike any other woman Kyle has ever met. That could be a reason why she rubs him the wrong way so hard. Then again, maybe she's simply the destructive force he recognizes her as being. Is Claire Newman the new Summer Newman? With Lanny's character written out of the script, Claire took center stage in Kyle's life. Many scenes included reaction shots of Summer recognizing that her returned from the dead cousin caught Kyle's eye. Most likely, devoted fans pondered whether a triangle would emerge. However, the Summer character was eventually put on hold rather than being cast. She's said to be working in Europe indefinitely. That also allowed Harrison to be written away, with occasional drop-ins likely ahead. Summer was the first great love of Kyle's life. Her role as Harrison's stepmother means they will remain tied together. While Claire didn't have Summer's actual blessing, there were no ties to her blocking what became a relationship with Claire. So, Claire is different than Summer. But she's part of a legacy family and is someone whose connections and backstory set her far apart from Audra. Audra Charles isn't incomparable to anyone. Eden Baldwin, last played by Jessica Heap, last appeared in 2013. Through River Baldwin, Michael Gross, she was Michael Baldwin's, Christian LeBlanc, paternal sister. That was Kyle's first relationship, long before Mila embodied the role. Lola Rosales, Sasha Kaye, became the second great love of Kyle's life during one of the periods when he and Summer were split. Kaye's character was introduced as part of an entire family in GC. Sadly, they were all written away, with Lola leaving in 2021. Audra isn't like Tara Locke, Elizabeth Liner, whose purpose was to introduce Harrison Locke, Redding Munsell, now Harrison Abbott, and Ashland Locke, last played by daytime legend Robert Newman, into the show. While Mila's character was off-screen in New York, Tara and Kyle had a brief connection. That event was later incorporated into the plot, allowing Kyle to learn that he had a son. Kyle Abbott isn't in control. Kyle finds himself in an untenable position. He sincerely loves Claire. He's also disgusted and enraged by the influence Audra maintains in his life. There's no denying that he and Audra were physically attracted to each other and were involved in a transactional connection in the recent past. Kyle didn't want it to go further. Audra did, but buried her true intentions. As Kyle has come to see, Audra's repressed desire for him has proved destructive. She doesn't say she wants him outright. He responds by saying that she'll always be alone. But if Claire chooses Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, will Kyle cave into Audra and become a forcibly single person in the near future? This site is a leading source for everything linked to the young and the restless. Check back regularly for Y&R spoilers and news. Kyle and Claire split. 2 more romances begin. The Genoa city canvas is shifting once again, and this time, the heart of the drama revolves around Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman. For months, viewers have watched Kyle lean heavily on Claire as though she were the one bright spot in his life after a string of disappointments, betrayals, and personal missteps. Claire, in many ways, represented innocence and hope for Kyle, a chance to reset, to start again with someone untainted by the mess of his past. Yet instead of nurturing this fragile new love, Kyle has pushed Claire too hard, too fast, and too recklessly. His inability to step back and let her breathe is suffocating her, forcing her into the arms of another man without even realizing he's doing it. This isn't a story about villains and heroes, but about 2 people at very different points in their journeys, whose mismatched expectations threaten to unravel everything they built together. Kyle and Claire's relationship is teetering at the edge of collapse. For Claire, who is still finding her footing after years of manipulation by Jordan and struggling to define her own identity outside her family's legacy, Kyle's constant pressure feels overwhelming. He demands loyalty, reassurance, and understanding, but gives her little space to process her own emotions. Kyle makes unilateral decisions and conceals truths that exacerbate the gap between them rather than easing her mind. His pattern of lying, even if he convinces himself it's for the right reasons, chips away at Claire's ability to trust. Every secret revealed is another reminder that perhaps Kyle doesn't see her as an equal partner but as someone who must simply adapt to his world. And Claire, who hasn't been in a relationship in a while but is wise enough to know when something doesn't feel right, starts to wonder if this is the kind of relationship she wants. Those closest to Kyle have warned him repeatedly to take a step back. Claire has been gently advised by Jack, Diane, and even Mariah that she needs time to process everything. But Kyle, stubborn and desperate not to lose the one good thing in his life, only leans in harder. Claire is eventually driven away by his unrelenting search for assurance. Ironically, the more he clings to her, the more she longs to break free. Claire is a young woman craving stability, honesty, and the chance to grow at her own pace, but Kyle's lies, big and small, pile up like bricks on her chest. The question is not whether Claire is able to overlook a single error, rather, it is whether she is able to continue bearing the burden of numerous betrayals. At some point, love is no longer enough to justify the pain. Enter Holden Novak, the man who is quickly emerging as an unexpected force in Claire's life. Unlike Kyle, Holden has no history of deception with her. He approaches her with patience, lightheartedness, and sincerity. While Kyle overwhelms her with pressure, Holden invites her into new experiences. When Claire admits she has never been to Disneyland, Holden seizes the chance to create a memory that is fun, carefree, and free of emotional baggage. Their connection feels fresh, uncomplicated, and most importantly, empowering for Claire. Holden doesn't make her feel like she has to prove herself or constantly reassure him, he simply enjoys her company. That simplicity is intoxicating after months of being wrapped up in Kyle's drama. Claire's conversations with her mother only reinforce what she already knows deep down. Holden has caught her eye, and Kyle's suffocating control has left her questioning their future. The possibility of leaving town with Holden, even temporarily, feels like a breath of fresh air. Los Angeles offers Claire not just Disneyland, but distance, space away from the constant chaos of Genoa City, the Newman name, and Kyle's lies. Of course, she doesn't want to hurt Kyle. Their history, however brief, still matters to her. But the truth is unavoidable. Claire is ready to move on from her first relationship and see what else is out there. She is aware that she cannot remain entangled in a vicious circle of mistrust with Kyle, regardless of whether she deeply adores Holden or simply learns more about herself in the process. Meanwhile, Kyle is grappling with emotions he can't quite control. On the surface, he insists he has no interest in rekindling anything with Audra Charles, the ambitious and sharp-tongued woman who once shared his bed. But actions speak louder than words, and every fiery argument between Kyle and Audra betrays the passion that still lingers beneath the surface. Their connection was transactional once, built on mutual convenience and shared ambition, but there's an undeniable chemistry neither can fully bury. Kyle may tell himself he despises Audra's influence in his life, yet every encounter with her leaves him rattled, exposed, and strangely alive in a way that Claire never managed to unlock. Could it be that Kyle protests too much? Could Audra, the very woman he claims to despise, be the one he is most drawn to? Claire's potential departure with Holden forces Kyle to confront his own contradictions. He loves Claire, but his lies have poisoned their bond. He claims to want nothing from Audra, yet his energy when he's with her suggests otherwise. The man who once thought he could control his love life suddenly finds himself utterly powerless. For Kyle, this moment may become a reckoning not only about which woman he wants, but about who he truly is. Does he want the sweetness and security Claire represents, or the fire and danger Audra embodies? Both paths could lead to heartbreak, but perhaps heartbreak is inevitable until Kyle learns to be honest with himself and those he claims to love. For Claire, the decision looms: stay in Genoa City and continue battling for a relationship with Kyle that may never feel right, or take Holden's hand and explore something new. She has already survived more darkness than most, and she knows she deserves a partner who gives her light, not shadows. Holden is falling hard for her. Viewers can see it in every glance, every smile, every unspoken moment between them. Whether she falls as hard for him remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Holden offers Claire something Kyle never could, at least not right now. Freedom. Trust. The chance to breathe. This love quadrangle, Kyle, Claire, Holden, and Audra, represents more than just romantic entanglements. It's a mirror of choices, of paths not taken, of identities in flux. Kyle is torn between truth and lies, between past and future. Claire is learning what she wants in love, even if it means breaking someone's heart to honor her own. Audra is testing the boundaries of ambition and desire, wondering if her passion for Kyle is love or simply another game to win. And Holden, the newcomer, is the wild card, a man whose sincerity could change the course of Claire's journey forever. As Genoa City watches, two romances seem poised to bloom from the ashes of Kyle and Claire's split. Claire and Holden's connection promises discovery and growth, while Kyle and Audra's combustible chemistry may finally ignite into something undeniable. For fans, this isn't just a story of breakups and new loves, it's a story of transformation. Every choice these characters make will ripple through their families, their friendships, and the entire fabric of the show. Will Kyle eventually learn to stop lying? After so much suffering, will Claire risk her heart once more? Will Holden be the steady force she needs, or just another stepping stone? And will Audra prove herself a destructive temptation, or the only woman who truly understands Kyle's darkness? One thing is certain: in Genoa City, love is never simple. Hearts break, alliances shift, and new passions are always waiting just beyond the horizon. Kyle and Claire's relationship may be ending, but from its end come two fresh beginnings, romances that will test loyalties, ignite rivalries, and keep fans glued to their screens for months to come.